All right, Ryan, welcome. Nice to meet you. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining today.
Likewise, it is
Cool.
my pleasure.
Well, maybe to start, could you just tell tell us a little bit more about yourself and your running journey?
Certainly, yeah. So, 31 years old, currently live in Dallas, Texas, and I've been running for as long as I can remember. I started off in middle school, and when I was one of those athletes or kids that tried all the sports, and running was the one that ended up sticking. So it kind of was a trial and error of found the one that I was good at, and really started to enjoy. As many runners know, it's hard to enjoy something that you put your body through in such a strenuous way, but the your results are what make it all worth it. So I love the feeling of racing and competing, and how you could like really work towards a goal and accomplish it through hard work. So I just can kind of continue that through my life, and now have run marathons, half marathons, road races, and just love all the distances really, and track and cross country, if you will. So
Yeah, it's very impressive. I normally don't ask this, but yours are so impressive. I have to ask. Can you tell us all what your PRs are for the different distances?
oh well, well, I guess the one probably I'm most proud of is the half marathon. I have actually only trained for one, and set a goal. Just wanted to be competitive, like a 123. And then during my training, it was going so well, I decided to go for it. Ended up running a 120 in my race. So it was really kind of ecstatic about that. I think half is a great distance. People are asking me if I'm going to go for more, and we'll see. But that translated into a 258 marathon. Um, and I think one of the funnest races you can do is the 5K, especially after you go up to marathon training. 5K are so quick. And so when I like to work on speed, I like to do the 5K. And in my adult life, I've gotten back down around in the low 17s. But when I was in high school, would run the 16s pretty regularly. So
Unbelievable. I know many people that would kill for those times. And my sense is with the 120 half marathon, you're leaving a lot on the table with the 258 marathon. And so if you ever do decide to put a training block in for that one, I wouldn't be surprised to see that thing fall way down.
we shall see. Yeah, that's one of the next goals on the horizon, is to take another stab at the marathon. So
Definitely. Well, two things I wanted to ask about that I saw recently on your Instagram feed, which I think are really cool, both from a personal standpoint, but just I think for people in general. It looks like you recently, tell me if I'm wrong, but you recently paced a half marathon. You paced a 130 group, so not a group of slouchers. These people were getting after it. What made you get into pacing? What was that experience like?
yeah, so I actually ended up getting hurt a few years ago. I broke my right foot when I was training for the Boston Marathon, and actually ended up in a cast a month out. So it was very much so involved in my training, and the doctor told me I wasn't going to be able to run. So that was very heartbreaking. Um, and to not actually be able to complete the race after qualifying, and was kind of at a loss for what to do. And I got into coaching. Signed up at one of the local high schools to like just get involved with high school track and cross country, and really just enjoyed it, and really found honestly a greater joy in seeing the athletes achieve their goals than like well I was on the sidelines, just seeing how you could translate that joy and energy and passion that I had learned along my career, for the sport, and give that to someone who is new and starting out, and just seeing them drop times and meet their goals or get a state medal was so rewarding. And I wanted to see what else that could expand to. And as I got healthy myself, I wanted to run with others. So I joined a running group here in Dallas, and a few of them actually, and was offered the opportunity to pace a race, which I thought was such a unique opportunity. And part of that, I paced a group that uh, trained all season long to achieve a 130 goal, and so it was very fitting that I ran with them during the race. And so we actually were very successful. Dallas was a hard course, I'd say, to pace, with the first half being uphill, second half being downhill. So kind of had to watch our splits, but a very rewarding experience when you're able to push people through the finish line, kind of underneath that goal.
That's awesome. And so the people that you ran with uniquely here, you had been training with them. So they had been training for a while. And so everybody knew each other's names. That's neat. Yeah. A lot of times it feels like it's, you don't really know the pacer. It's just someone there that's amazing. You're just kind of sticking with him or her.
Yeah. And then there was, obviously, with Dallas being such a big race, there were a lot of people that showed up the day of that were just like, hey, you're my target because I'm carrying this big stick.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, roll with me and I'll get you there. And that's kind of the cool thing about pacing is it's a lot of trust. And I used a pacer for my first marathon when I went sub-3, and I mean I owed it to that guy. And so they kind of take that away from you as far as the mental aspect of it. You want a thing to think about, just kind of follow that shirt, and they'll get you to your goal.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Speaking of running groups, I also saw that you are a founding member or the founder of the Brunch Run Crew. Could you talk more about that?
Yeah, so I love running with people, and it's always funny. People are always like, "Oh, like I can't run with you, blah, whatever." And like running is such an inclusive sport, and like everyone is a runner if they want to be a runner. And so I created a group, especially because in more urban areas, it's harder to run, like in like a cityscape, and also in like minority communities, health and fitness is not as promoted. You don't see a lot of people who look like me running like in your downtown scapes or running in your local 5K races. And it's like, oh, when the Olympics, so we have Kenyans and a bunch of people that are doing quite well, but distance racing in America is not that representative. And so I created what's called the Brunch Run Crew to bring a more social aspect to running, get people to network, get people to realize that anyone can do this. It's pretty much a couch to a 5K. And what we do, and it's inclusive of all groups who wants to run, is we do a 5K every Saturday, and then we go have brunch of almost mimosas. So there's walking groups, there's running groups, and it's really just about meeting people in the community, having a good time, and getting a little bit of a workout in too, because that's health as well. So
That's great. And a nice start to the weekend as well.
yeah.
Cool. Well, aside from the weekend, you obviously run during the week and you're a busy guy. There's a lot of things that you have going on. So when it comes to running, how do you structure your day to fit running in?
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges, especially as you mentioned, with things going on. Running sometimes can take up a lot of time, especially training for a marathon. That 1 hour workout turns into 2, maybe 3 hours, and how do you fit that in? And so I really try to be regimented with my training calendar, have my set days, that those around me know what my schedules are. So it's, hey, I'll be running every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and so then we can kind of work in activities around there. But even then, you just have to be conscious about whether it's morning or night, whether it's going to be dark outside when you're trying to go run. How has your fuel been that day? Are you equipped to run at this time? I think it's a balance and giving yourself grace. That, okay, well, I missed this run Tuesday. I'm not going to mess up my whole week. We have a long 18-week training block. One day is not going to destroy that. So that flight flexibility is important, but also you have to start with that structure that really allows the space for you to be able to do what you need to do on a consistent basis.
I love that idea of having a structure, but also having some grace with yourself, because it's so easy to not do everything perfect because there's so many other balls that are being juggled. But you're right. I mean, in an 18-week training block, 30 days is something, but what's one day, right? Like, you have to move something around. It's okay. And you don't have to let it ruin everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you've been running for a while now, so you've had a chance to meet a bunch of different running brands. What are some of your favorite running brands that you have experienced from shoes, apparel? What's sort of like in the Ryan toolkit of this is the good stuff?
Yeah, so I had to start with Asics because they have been riding with me from the very beginning. I feel like they don't get a lot of love with all the carbon plate shoes now and what have you. But I have dealt with my own fair share of injuries, and for me, it's happened when I've switched shoes. And so I know everyone has the shoes that they love, but I think you find one that works for you and you stick with it and rock with it. So I've been rolling with them since high school. Um, but outside of shoe apparel, everything for me is how much the running community is exploiting people who are interested in helping progress it. And so you think about the different ways that we can recover, different ways that we can be comfortable while we're running, different things that we can put into our bodies that will make us run faster, healthier, and recover fast. And so I love finding those smaller brands that are focused on that, not this big mass consumerism, but more so we care about the sport, we care about the athlete, and we really want to find something that's going to help us. So I love going on Instagram, talking to different runners, and say like, hey, well, what's been working for you, and how has that changed the way you run? I mean, now I think these faithfully, and so found the vitamins through a source like that, and can really find a difference. And I love just when there's intentionality behind, it's for runners, because we have a unique profile in the way that we train, the nutrients that we need. Um, Also, I'd say other couple brands I would like to shout out would be from a recovery standpoint. I found these packets called Noon
Mm.
and Nudie, N-O-T-Y,
Oh,
and
okay.
they are
NPT.
yeah, they are a smaller brand out of Florida, I think, that are kind of like a squeeze packet, and they're like 10 grams of protein, and they're great for like after a workout whenever you need that. And it's like almond butter. You can spread it on toast. You can just kind of eat it naturally, right? It not only tastes good, but has like everything you need in it in a very quick, easy way to go. And then I'll say also Jane UCAN. I mean, big popular brand, but they really know what they're doing from a GI standpoint. Eating on runs is so hard for me personally. I think on my first marathon, had no plan. Got to mile 20, completely bonked. I think my mom gave me a Cliff Bar at mile 14. I threw it up at 16. Like it was just, I'm like, what am I doing here?
Well,
But
anytime you can bonk and still run under 3 hours, it's not a bad day in the grand scheme of
yeah.
things. But now we know your secret to equalizing your half marathon potential. We know what the issue is.
Right. I don't think I ate much on that one either. But
Yeah.
yeah. But the UCAN like fuel to go is the edge, I think it's called, does not have GI stress. It's like they're a starch blend, very low sugar, if any sugar, and that seems to really kind of settle the stomach and give you the energy that you need. So some cool products out there for all types of things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will make a note and put all these into the show notes so other people, if they're looking to meet some of these brands and to try them, they can take a look at them. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Um, well, maybe Ryan, the last question, and then I'll let you go, is what's up next? What goals are you chasing now? What's sort of the vision for the next 1, 3, 5 years for you in running?
Yeah, that's exciting. You mentioned kind of that timeline, 'cause I think, yeah, as runners, we sometimes look small to the next one, but what's the long term focus too? I think that I can change, and I think when I look at immediate goals, I want to go back to Boston. I want to complete Boston. Kind of next up is kind of getting that next BQ and crossing the Boston finish line. And I've looked at kind of doing like the world majors. I think it'd be cool to travel to do marathons, kind of especially outside of the country, experience those cities, but also the spectating and how they view running, like what would be cool. And then also from a personal standpoint, I have to work more on my speed, kind of get back down to the 5K to 10K, and kind of see what would be possible there. And then lastly, I want to continue to get involved like in the running community from like a coaching standpoint, and just maybe get back into coaching uh, high school cross country track, maybe dabble with even like the college ranks, and just see how I can help further the sport myself and help others achieve their goals. So
I'd say that sounds great, and you're off to a pretty good start. Ryan, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
appreciate it. Pleasure talking to you as well.